Something's happening. It looks like you're getting on something bad. Something bad. It's not good. It's like an edge of extinction. I don't know.
Oh my God!
The final episode of the top 100 greatest survivors.
Thank you for asking me about ALS and my advocacy to fight this terrible, terrible condition. If you don't know, or for those of you who may not know, my wife, Stacey Title, was diagnosed with ALS in December of 2017 and has been fighting for her life since then. So ALS is a terrible disease. It's considered kind of an orphan disease. There's only about 30,000 Americans at any given time who suffer from it, which is good because it's a terrible, terrible condition. But the average lifespan is 2 to 5 years, depending. She's now been with us with ALS for almost 2.5 years.
Hi, I'm Adam Jumba, and I'm the director of the Top 100 Greatest Survivors. This finale episode is dedicated to the fight against ALS. If you would like to help, please click on the link at the very top of the description below this video, whether you're watching this live or not. All proceeds will go to aiding the fight against ALS through charitable donations to research, treatment, care, and raising awareness. Thank you.
So any help that you could be, especially in this very tough time, we genuinely appreciate it. If not, of course, we understand. But please go, check out ALS, check out our site, and you'll learn some more. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who's given already. Really been a lifesaver. Thanks.
Hey guys, before we got started, I just wanted to thank everyone watching. We appreciate the amazing response from the top 100 survivors. Especially thanks to those who watched since episode 1, commented with their feedback, watched the episodes live, and participated in the live chat room. I also wanted to thank everyone involved with the making of the series, all the survivors who interviewed. We have over 100 people interviewed or were a part of the team to make this come to life. I wanted to thank the survivor specialists, Phil and Alexa, for all their help. I wanted to thank Peridiam and Once Upon an Island for helping with some of the episodes. If you missed the 3-hour kickoff show that came before this episode, you can still go back and watch it at a later date for some exclusive interviews, over 20 Survivor fan favorites, Johnny Fairplay, Kelly Wentworth, a bunch of winners, some winners at War players, an exclusive interview with Peridiam. Go check it out. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, because we have some great content to come. The Top 100 Survivors was only the beginning. Stay tuned after the credits for this episode for a look into the future of the Russell Hantz Show. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 10, the grand finale of the Top 100 Greatest Survivors.
A Survivor legend, a Survivor YouTuber, a Survivor superfan, and 2 Survivor specialists. My list is based on who I believe is a legend of the game.
Overall memorability and the impact that they had on the game of Survivor.
Overall performance and average amount of days that they played in the seasons they played in.
How well players played their first time.
I put a little more emphasis on the character as a whole.
5 lists all average out to make one master list. And this, our top 100 greatest survivors, was created. And the countdown to number 1 begun. So far we have 90 survivors down, 10 more still to come. Before we reveal the top 10 on our list, take a look at numbers 100 through 11. And now the countdown to number 1 comes to an end. The greatest game on television, and these its most respected players.
Who is your number 1?
The number 1 spot.
Number 1 spot.
Who deserves to be number 1?
It's impossible to pick one that's the greatest survivor of all time.
It's time to celebrate the castaways, the legends.
The number 1 survivor of all time has to be...
This is the top 100 greatest survivors.
So when you think of the greatest survivor of all time, there's a lot of names you could throw in there, and this is opinion based. So let's just not get this twisted, guys. Listen, this is an opinion. There is a shuffle of many names.
There are so many winners and people that have played the game. They played different games.
I mean, I personally think it's impossible to just, out of all the hundreds of survivors that have played the game, it's impossible to pick one that's the greatest survivor of all time. I don't think that there is such a thing. I think that we all of us bring something different and special to the table. That's kind of what makes Survivor this, the super compelling TV that it is that every season there's another 16 or 18 or 20 people that are completely different. And there's always somebody there for everyone watching to kind of relate to.
Talking about the greatest Survivor players ever, it's difficult to name one person as the greatest because I feel like there's so many people that are great for different reasons. There's some people who are fantastic at the social game. There's some people who are amazing at the physical part of the game. There are those winners that are just epic. I mean, Tony Vlachos, I never thought that would be able to win Survivor 2 times. You have Boston Rob, who's played multiple times, but will always be someone that most people look up to. So I just think that's such a difficult question to ask who like the top number 1 Survivor player is, because everyone that is on this list is great for different reasons.
Who is the greatest survivor of all time?
Ooh, the number 1 spot.
Sorry, I'm just going through the seasons.
There's so many to choose from.
Number 1 spot for greatest survivors. I mean,
greatest survivor. Who would I put at number 1?
Shoot.
All right. We'll put that one on the back burner for now. Who is your favorite survivor growing up?
I was a fan when I got casted, but my favorite player was always JT.
I would say, like, leading up to me going on Survivor, for sure my favorite season was Heroes Villains, and it still ranks up there as one of my favorites. But Token Chains was kind of my first one back, and so I was a huge fan of JT.
If they ever asked me, I would kind of just throw out quite a few names, like, of course, Sandra, Coach, Tyson, Parvati. Those are kind of like the ones that are at the top of everyone's list. But for me, it was always JT. He was always my favorite.
I'm JT. I'm 24 years old, and I'm from Sampson, Alabama. I manage a Black Angus cattle ranch. I'm in hot weather every day, so I'm accustomed to the weather and mosquitoes, things of that nature. I know I'm going to be good at catching fish, and I know I'm going to be good at providing. But that'll also put me out in front of everybody else as a threat eventually. So the biggest challenge for me is going to be fitting in with the people.
It's not even 15 minutes, and Coach is ready to talk about the game, and it was perfect. I couldn't wait to talk to him about the game.
From what I know, Brendan thinks he's in control of the game pretty much. Whatever y'all are doing with y'all.
I was thinking of getting rid of Brendan since
probably 2 or 3 eliminations ago. So
He's gonna be surprised
I'm
as
one of
hell,
the guys
man.
that's
Hell yeah. It's good, man.
Hey, you're the warrior, and we're together now, man.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
All right.
If I'm reading Coach right, he's telling me the truth. My life in this game's in his hands tonight. But, you know, this is a game for $1 million.
So JT is credited with playing a perfect game, and I think that, 100% he got to the end with no blood on his hands, even though he participated in all the bloodletting. JT was able to get to the end with the ultimate respect of everybody out there. They knew that he worked hard at challenges. They knew that he didn't complain. They knew that he was trustworthy as far as when you talk to him. I think everybody's got that little bit of a sucker for a Southern accent. They think that it's going to be the gentleman that's going to keep his word. For all appearances and for all purposes, JT did stay clear to his alliance, and he stuck by them. And the new alliances like me and Tyson, he waylaid those people, but he really was able to get to the end, encompassing all the games. He outwitted everybody. He outwitted his best friend. He outwitted Steven to make Steven take the fall for all the dirty work that they had done. And he outlasted everybody. Obviously, he could do anything around camp. He was phenomenal in challenges, just a true natural athlete. And then, of course, he had, outwit. He was on the right side of tribal council almost every single time and never got his name written down.
The winner of Survivor We'll tell.
Listen, when the challenge is over, you go to JT, okay? He's gonna give you something.
Or mine. Hopefully, we are on the same page. Play the idol tonight.
For sure.
See you soon. BFF forever. XOXO. JT. That one's for you too.
Damn it.
Trump spoken.
The thing with JT is I think he gets a bad rap on the move when he gave me the idol. You have to think for a second. It's almost like love and hate. There's a fine line between being really bad and really good in the game of Survivor. And JT is one of the, if that move works for JT, he's probably a 2-time winner and the best to ever play the game, no exceptions. So I think that when we look back at it, it's such a big, bold move that I used to not give him respect, but as I've grown with a little bit of wisdom and, grown in watching the game, it's one of the greatest moves in the history of the game.
Steven and I come from different walks of life. I mean, he's definitely a city boy, and I'm the South Alabama cattle farmer. But we get along really well, so we have a good friendship. Steven's been very honest with me, and I feel like I can trust Steven all the way. Steven and I, we've actually put ourselves in a real good position. I mean, actually, Steven and I could have decided who went home last night, and we decided to stick through with the Warrior Alliance.
I mean, right now, we have played an awesome game. And no one wants to vote us out.
I don't know why not, neither. We're not sure on what we're going to do tonight, but Steven and I are going to stick together on whatever decision we make.
The guaranteed spot in the final 2. Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
Steven and I made a promise to each other that if we do make it to this point in the game, we take each other to the final 2. Steven's here with me, just like we planned a long time ago, and it's kind of hard to believe, you know. Steven and myself, we are the last 2 standing. Going into the tribal council tonight, there's no doubt about it, I'm gonna have to lay all of our friendship stuff aside because whatever it takes to win $1 million, now I gotta do it. I did everything I possibly could to provide for everybody every chance I got, and to do that and accept it and never get a vote in this game, not once, is a huge accomplishment for me, and to make friends with you guys. I mean, it was very hard to vote you guys out.
JT unquestioningly deserves to be in the top 10 survivors of all time. First of all, he was the first player ever in the history of the show to play what we're calling a perfect game, which is winning all of the jury votes against a great competitor. He won the fan favorite, which is no longer even offered, and he got 0 votes against him during the entirety of the season. So for that reason alone, and also Tocantins, not a one world season, there were some real competitors on Tocantins, There, you have Tyson on Tocantins, who goes on to win the game, Coach, who goes on to be a runner-up. So this was a unanimous win, 0 votes against a pretty competitive cast, and probably one of the more competitive casts for a new player season. So I think, JT leaves in season 18. He is unquestionably a top 10 player. The question comes in, right, when you take into account what happened in Heroes versus Villains and then Game Changers. And I will argue that those performances burnish the legacy of JT rather than detract from it. First of all, JT is literally a game changer. He is willing to make these giant moves that nobody else is even thinking about. Passing an idol across tribes to flip the tribe dynamic on the other tribe to better your game at the merge is a brilliant, gutsy idea. Game changers too. You see JT make a giant move that is going to set himself up for the rest of the game. He comes into the tribal council where Malcolm went home, with this locked tie vote. He's on a tribe where he doesn't have the numbers. There's a danger that he might be voted out on that tribe. He gets up. He's the first person to ever get up and walk across the room at tribal council. Never happened before, and now it's like everyone's doing it. And tries to get Culpepper to vote out the person who he wants out. JT was making big moves, constantly trying to forward his game and really just shift the fundamental dynamics of the game to serve him. And I think that is something that you look for in the best players. And, those are the people who win and win the most dominantly. And yes, when it doesn't work out, it blows up. But when it does work out, it's brilliant. For example, when JT takes his entire tribe onto the raft, strands them at sea, and runs back to search for the idol. He's willing to think outside of the traditional gameplay and find ways to advance himself. And I think that makes him one of the best players in the game's history, and certainly a top 10 player.
I feel really great. It's day 39. The sun's coming up. It's a beautiful morning, and still here.
As a Survivor player yourself, who is your favorite Survivor player?
I like Jeremy Collins. I like him a lot as a person, as a firefighter, as a Survivor player.
We not only loved him, he played a beautiful game, and then with this whole icing on the cherry on the cake, it was just he's just very strategic, very lovable. He's a true Survivor. Love Jeremy.
To get on Survivor for 10 years. I didn't bring her out here and leave our daughters at home to lose.
Want to find out who you're playing against?
I don't care who I'm playing against. I feel pretty good where I'm at right now. Everybody's on my side, and I'm the popular guy. Everybody wants to date the prom king. So this is perfect. It's a workout.
Jeremy, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go. Welcome to Survivor Cambodia Second Chance.
Jeremy definitely stood out as a leader and in his tribes, and I was lucky to play with him early in the season. He's so likable and he's so charismatic, and you genuinely are trying to vote him out, but at the same time rooting for him to win. It's like this weird conundrum you find yourself in, because you're like, I can't vote this guy out.
That's it! Fight on! Wins immunity! Safe from the vote!
This is my second chance, and I feel like I have to work harder this time. There was a little tree full of leaves, and I started digging in it, and the thing just popped up like, whoop, I said, ah.
For me, Jeremy's one of the top 5 ever. You saw him on Winners at War, absolutely brilliant. I was rooting for him the whole way, of course. But yeah, one of the top 5 in my book, for sure.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Yeah, just. My decision comes down to who can I trust more going forward. That's for Fishback.
Fishback does not count. Fishback does not count. Fishback does not count. Fishback does not count.
All the way. Even if, you know, you were allied against Jeremy, you still were having conversations with him. Also, he's just such a great guy. Like, he's just such a wonderful, like, lovable, incredible human being who's devoted to his family. You know, he's a firefighter. He's, like, actually a hero. But he's, like, so funny and so humble. You know, he doesn't, like, he's just, like, a nice human.
Hold on, Jeffrey. Votes cast for Jeremy will not count. Jeremy does not count. Jeremy will not count.
What the hell? Spencer is out. Jeremy, when he needs it most, wins his first individual immunity. Guaranteed a spot at the final tribal council. Every day I want to tell all y'all that I'm about to have a son. And I can't even tell y'all because I don't want to mess up my game. I don't want to mess up anything because I'm doing it for them. So my second chance is all about family. That's it. I'm not doing it for nothing else. I don't even care about me. All I care about is my family. That's my second chance.
The winner of Survivor Second Chance, Jeremy.
You seem like a good dude. I was getting a good vibe from you the whole
Yeah,
way,
we got to stick together.
Yeah, I know.
I
So
mean,
if we can be a strong two, hopefully our pairs are solid.
all right, boom.
What, Jeff? I don't know what the hell is going on tonight, but I don't trust anybody here, so.
Hold on, Jeffrey. When he needs it most, wins his first individual immunity.
Wentworth, the two different worlds right now between you and Jeremy. His emotion has said, I've done it. Your emotion says, I might have just fallen a little short.
He just has one of those personalities where you just gravitate towards him. Like, you just want to hang out with him. He's just funny. He's super personable. And I think that's really, really important in Survivor because you want to be around that. Like, you want to be around people that are interesting and funny and make the game easier. Like, the elements are so difficult. So to be able to have that type of personality, I think it just makes people closer to you. And I remember Cirie said in one episode right after the merge, she was like, if we don't take Jeremy out now, he's gonna win. And like, we all knew it. He's so good. And he did. That's also why he won, you know, by a landslide, because he's just such a great person in so many ways. So why did Jeremy win Cambodia? Great social game, good physical game, great strategic game, just all around really, really good player.
My second chance is all about Val and the kids. I just want them to be proud of me, and I just want to take care of them. I miss them so much. I didn't leave this long for nothing.
So who's up there on your greatest survivor list?
Sarah's right up there too. To me, like, she won a really, you know, her win was really good. She played pretty good her first season, and she played pretty damn. I mean, honestly, if she wins fire, I think she winners. I mean, she was like this much flame away from going to the end, right? And so she was close. If she would have won that, I might put Sarah up there, the number one spot, you know.
Seventh person voted out, and the first member of our jury. Sarah. Sarah, the tribe has spoken.
Last
time I played like a cop, look where it got me. This time I'm playing like a criminal, and we'll see where it gets me. My word is not my bond in this game this time. With a season called Game Changers, I feel like somebody will get anxious and feel as though they need to make a move, which will put a target on their back, and then I'm gonna be the silent assassin. With Survivor, to be a game changer, you gotta be looking constantly for idols and clues, and now I have a secret advantage. So this is a huge win for me. If Cirie goes, it is not all bad, because Cirie has told me about this legacy advantage and that she would will it to me if she leaves. Now the only trick is I need to confirm that Cirie thinks I'm good with her to ensure that she gives it to me. I mean, it's us, right? I love you. At Tribal Council, as her name comes up, I look at her in shock, like, I can't believe you're going. And it worked. I worked my butt off to get here. I made moves that other people were scared to make. I made moves that I was scared to make. And I'm very proud of how I played. Brad, are you even nervous about tonight?
Not really.
As a police officer, I don't respect being lied to. It makes me feel like you think that I'm stupid.
Sarah's an excellent player and definitely deserves to be, up in the tops. She played fantastic this last time as well. To get to the end amongst all the greatest of the greats speaks a lot. So, no, I respect her game. Sarah was able to, in our season, manipulate some votes and then kind of be able to get back into the good graces of the people she kind of, stuck it to. And that's how you play Survivor.
The winner of Survivor Game Changers, Sarah.
In my opinion, Sarah Lacina is Mount Rushmore of Survivor. To go from such a huge target to completely have it offer back and have the personal relationships with so many people where they wanted to work with her instead of target her. I mean, that is a skill that is unbelievable.
Even though I'm the most recent female winner out here, it's pretty nerve-wracking because I have 9 of the most intimidating women right next to me. I mean, winners at war, it just sounds nasty.
I could not help but just have my guard up consistently with her, because anytime she would be like, yeah, it's tough that the family members just left, right? I'm like, she's doing that thing that she did last season where she wants to emotionally connect with me. So I kept our relationship pretty light and surface level for the most part, just because I did not want to fall into the Sarah Lacina trap. But I think in general, she's just super, super fun to be around, and she can find ways to connect with every single person. That's how she finds those relationships that are so deeply integrated that people don't even question those relationships. And I think we've seen immense loyalty from so many people on this cast to Sarah. We saw Sophie being so loyal to Sarah, Kim, Ben, Tony, like those people would never have flopped on her. So I think she does a really, really good job of managing her relationships. I was super impressed with it.
If you look at pregame interviews, almost half the people, I think 6 or 7 people said that Sarah would be their first target because of how dangerous and cutthroat of a player is. And yet, some of those very people became her closest allies in the game. Sarah is one of the best and one of the least trustworthy players in the history of Survivor.
Like the first time I played with Sarah, I didn't care for her. I didn't know her. I didn't want to know her. I just wanted to go out there and kill everybody and win the game, but then I got to know her, obviously. So through the years, we talked a bit on the phone, like, how's your family? How's everything? How's it work? Because we're both police officers. So we bonded over that. And so throughout the years, we always said to each other, listen, if we ever got to play again, we can't go after each other. Let's just try to stay strong to each other, at least up until after the merge. And then whatever happens, depending on where we are in each other's individual game, we'll take it from there. So, game changes went on and we knew we were going to play together, and I was looking forward to playing with her, and we just didn't get a chance to. So when Winners of War, we won the same team, I was very happy. I was so excited to work with her. So that was awesome to know that outside the game relationship, I can trust her enough,
When I say best Survivor player, who are some names that pop in your head first?
I think a lot of times the best players don't ever win. I mean, I know that sounds weird to say, but I think when you're that good, it makes it extra hard to get to the winning spot.
Obviously, there are lots of, amazing players who've never won, Russell being one of them. I have so much respect for Russell as a player, for sure. What he did his first 2 seasons was incredible.
I think I really like the ones that did something. So even if they got out in a flame of glory, those were always sort of my favorite players since they were ones that were memorable. So clearly Russell was some of the people that I really liked.
Russell Hantz changed the game.
I do believe that Russell Hantz should be in the top 10.
Russell, I mean, I put Russell in the same category. I hope he's not offended by this, as Tony. They're interesting people to watch. They're aggressive. They play hard. So obviously Russell would be in the top. I'm only saying that because if I didn't say that, you'd cut me off and I wouldn't be in his top 100. But anyway.
I didn't come here to work. I came here to play. You got to talk about lines. As soon as you step on this island. Lived in New Orleans, right in St. Bernard Parish, right by the levee. The storm was a Category 5. When it hit, it broke the levee. I was in my house. I have a German Shepherd. His name was Rocky. And I tried to get out the house, and I realized I wasn't going to make it. I never lived in New Orleans, and I'm not a fireman. I even never had a German Shepherd. And it's crazy how you can break their hearts by telling them a lie. I think if I can control how they feel, I can control how they think. Another thing, man, I think there's an immunity idol in our camp. You gotta keep that a secret. And I should keep it a secret, but the reason I'm telling you, because I trust you, is I'm gonna start looking for it. Because if we can find that dude without even any clues. So I look in the tree, I look up, I almost passed out. I seen it sitting there, so I reached up there, yanked it down, got it loose, put it in my underwear, turned around, just walked off. The wonderful immunity idol.
This is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Russell tonight will not count. Eric, tribe has spoken.
That easy. Keep hope alive.
This is an idol. Any votes cast against Russell will not count. I'll read the votes. Russell does not count. Kelly, the tribe has spoken.
There it is. Oh my God.
Russell's one of the greatest players. He just couldn't seal the deal. People want to say he was, how could you like him? How did he get so far? That's because of the edit. When his people that he was with, they loved him. There's a reason, because he was a good old boy in camp and they loved him. They don't show that part. That's not good TV, not good editing.
I'm a villain. I think villains are smarter than heroes because they don't mind stabbing somebody in the back to get where they want to get. It's a fact. It's a proven fact. Google it. Believe it or not, I'm a little nervous going in. I'm still in awe of who I'm here with. I mean, for God's sake, Boston Rob, Parvati. I mean, I got to get my mind straight and not let them get me too starstruck. I'm out here playing the game with them now.
He had a totally different way of going about stuff. Like in the sort of like the older school Survivor, it was like, if you're saying something and the cameras are listening, that means you're talking game. So like, don't have the cameras around you. And like Russell would always be like, cameras, come here, come here. So that was like, we were like, what is he doing? But look, it worked out for him. I guess kind of, because he didn't win, but whatever. Yeah, it was interesting. So it's kind of fun. It's nice because he's definitely one of those like, Survivor community touchstones. It's like there's pre-Russell and then there's post-Russell. And so like I was there on the island where it was happening.
got way more to prove right here than I did last time. If I could do it here, if I can take it all the way, if I can whoop these all-stars, doesn't that mean I'm the best ever? Everybody knows Coach is a big joke, so he could go around flapping his jaws all he wants. The thing with Rob, he thinks he's the boss of the camp. Like, that's my daddy. Well, I'm the daddy around here.
I feel like I need to do something monumental, like the Knights of the Round Table, that would go like this, and you put... Can I do this? No, you would like knight me, just like that.
Playing with Russell Hantz in Heroes versus Villains, it was terrible. You know, I mean, he was such an aggressive player that I didn't know how to handle it. Russell was really ahead of his time, if I can say that, because he was finding idols before any clues, before anybody did it. So he pioneered that. He was playing really, really aggressive and really hard before players really, you know, had a chance to do that. Normally you'd get on the beach and you would take 3 days to assimilate and get to know everybody and see who you liked and didn't like. Then the first challenge would come, and then you'd figure out who was good at challenges and who was not. Russell was on a completely different level. He just wanted to go out there and be a bull in a china closet. None of us were ready for that.
It was right in my face. That's what I was afraid of.
Listen, when the challenge is over, you go to JT, okay? He's gonna give you something.
Now, I don't even have to find idols. People are actually giving me idols. You don't hand the enemy the idol, especially when his name is Russell Hantz. You don't do that. That's a no-no.
All he does is run his mouth. It's just, and I don't know how he does it, because at some point you don't have enough energy in you to even speak. So he's just constantly running his mouth, and it's entertaining. I mean, whatever happened at the end of the game, throughout the entire game, he was always commenting on something. And I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I appreciated it. So it was a lot of fun playing with him.
I think that Russell was instrumental in changing. We have this whole old school and new school thing going on right now. Russell, I believe, was the one that made that change. He's the reason why they say old school and new school, because Russell came in and he changed the way that Survivor is played. He changed the way it's played. And if you're a true Survivor fan, then you appreciate that how Russell took the game and he's evolved it to where it is today. And that's a pretty hard thing to do, changing an entire structure of the way that the game is played by doing that. And he did it again. And whether you liked it or not, that's not the question at point right now. The question is, was he one of the all-time greatest? And he was, because he took this game that everybody knew how it was played and he changed it. So that's a pretty powerful statement to make and a pretty powerful move to make.
Day 39, I said I would do it, and here I am. I've done it again. You say you can do it, but it's a lot harder than you really think. And I've done it twice. Day 39.
All right, here we go. The top 100 greatest survivors. Who's at the top?
She's just strategic in the aspect of putting two people against each other. So therefore, you always had someone going against somebody else, and no one looking at her to get her out. And I like that. I thought it was good gameplay.
She's feisty and she's funny, and she gives people hell, and I'm really into that, man. So definitely, she'd be the number one.
She is up there as like my top all-time favorite contestant to watch.
She's top 10. You always got to include somebody that's won twice. I mean, you've won twice. I don't care what anybody says.
I think Sandra is in the top 5.
Russell is going to hate who I would put for number 1, but it would be Sandra.
Sandra's won 2 times on her own. So as much as people might not think she's a great player, she's a great player,
I really have to give it to Sandra. I think she like both of her seasons that she played, she killed it. She kept it very simple. I love her simple approach. As long as it's not me, you know, I think she's like a queen. So I think that number one spot absolutely go to Sandra.
I'm the only person to ever win Survivor 2 times. And it wasn't just luck.
Are you with me or are you against me?
I'm against you, Russell. That's what I know how to do. Make it to day 39 and not get voted off. The queen stays queen. Adios. I want that baby up there. The tart.
You know, she knows what she's doing, and you know, and she's a good person too. So let me be first to let you know she's a great person. It couldn't happen to a better person for sure.
Sneak up just to hear what's going on. That's how I always have a working knowledge of what's going on, what's going to happen next.
I'm like, I'm trying to help you here. Oh my God.
And this time, when I saw them getting ready to go, I went over to Tawana and I said, you got to come with me now. The timing was perfect. It's better for her to hear with her own ears coming out of their mouths than for me to put things in her head and for her to have doubts. There's no doubts now. I'm gonna hide the pickaxe, all the knives, all the machetes. I mean, little by little, they just won't even see it coming.
See you in 10 minutes.
I'm gonna hide the spear and all 4 masks. Therefore, they don't have a way to fish unless they're gonna go out there with their bare hands.
What is amazing to me in Pearl Islands was not realizing how unbelievably strategic Sandra was and how smart she was in strategic thinking and making moves, but also being confident in her ability, right? She was confident to sit out of challenges and to let others lead, to put a target on their backs. And she would just bide her time waiting for that big strategic move. And that confidence is, I applaud that. It's amazing. And I love how she has very little filter. She'll just call people out, and that's brilliant too. And that just plays into her confidence. Like, she can call people out. She's confident in her ability to call something out and then course correct to account for that so she doesn't get voted out. And I love when she would say, probes would go to her, Sandra, what are you thinking? I don't care who goes as long as who's voted out, as long as it's not me. And that's brilliant. Next thing you know, she's in the final 3, and she's done some strategic things to win the game, but not enough to put her in the crosshairs all the time. It's a brilliant strategy, and she pulls it off flawlessly. Of course, she's the queen.
To me, the reason I probably was able to get to where I am now is because other people had other agendas. They had other fish to fry. Nobody worried about Sandra because Sandra was weak. And again, I was also the person that if someone needed that extra vote, I was there. As long as it wasn't me, I was ready to give up whoever. I was just always there to take advantage of the situation and let the vote go in a different direction than my way.
The winner of Survivor Pearl Island.
Last time I was mean, and this time I'm meaner. You know, I'll lie, I don't care.
Sandra and I were instantly like, boop, just right on the same page. She's very funny. She's very authentic. Like, she's exactly the same no matter who she's talking to. She's exactly the same. And similar to Todd, she has that sort of like mischief about her. And you know, man, I guess that's something I really like about people.
He's a stupid ass. Russell, if you don't have it and you didn't find it, you best look for it. Point blank. You need to get in the ocean and wash your ass. I can't stand you and I can't wait for you to go home. Adios. Russell is obnoxious. So I took his hat and I threw it in the fire. I don't care. I should burn his sneakers. Screw it. That's payback for everything he's done to me in this game.
Sandra's, she's a 2-time winner, guys. Her gameplay is, as long as it's not me. I don't agree with that gameplay. I'm an aggressive player. I'm in your face. I'm a strategic player. As long as it's not me, maybe she should have tried that this last 2 times she played, and it would have worked for her. You know I want this to be a positive thing, and I do have Sandra pretty high on this list. We have our little rival, of course. Sandra's a great person in real life. You ever meet Sandra? She's going to sign your autograph. She's going to take pictures. She's not ever going to say no. Great person in real life. When it comes to the game of Survivor, as long as it's not me. I mean, that's all that is coattail riding, guys. But I want to be positive here. Sandra's a 2-time winner. You can't hate on that.
The winner of Survivor, Heroes vs. Villains, Sandra.
Just use my arms. How bad did you beat me?
You know what? I can get loud too. What the f? I can get loud too.
I don't want to argue with you. That's what I'm from you.
First move.
Fair plays, buddy.
Dan, take one step back.
I mean, I have about 1 million questions I'd like to know about my grandmother, but obviously some people don't give a so Sandra
It's not all about you all the time.
Right.
His grandmother just died.
It's all about her.
Okay.
Why is Sandra one of the greatest survivors of all time? In the top 10? It's simple. Only one person prior to season 40 won the game twice. I mean, do I admire her gameplay? No. Do I think I should have won Pro Islands? Absolutely. But only one person has mastered. And to master the game, you win the game. That's it. There's not, they played better, they didn't do this. $1 million title Soul Survivor, that means you mastered the game. This person mastered the game twice. One less tribe swap on Game Changers, she potentially wins the game 3 times. Anyone that doesn't have Sandra in her top 10, you're insane. She is a top 10 greatest player ever to play Survivor.
I got voted out, and now it's time for me to go. I've gained a lot because of Survivor. It has changed my life. It's given me opportunities that I might not otherwise have had. I'm happy to go into retirement and know that I did the best I could with what I had. At the end of the day, I'm still the queen, and I'll always stay the queen.
All right. Blank sheet of paper. Who's number 1? Greatest survivor.
From my point of view, if I say who's the greatest player to ever play the game, based on a blank sheet of paper, I could still consider Richard Hatch to be that person.
If I were to make a number 1 list, Richard Hatch would be number 1.
Hatch, obviously he did it first.
Obviously Richard would be on there.
I like Richard.
There could only be one answer, and I think it's Richard Hatch.
Strategic alliance. He created that. He leveraged that, right? He knew how to do certain things in the game, and they were all brand new. And to this day, they're sustained within the game. And with all the changes that Survivor has, the things that he brought to the game are the original.
He's the person that got the whole thing started. Honestly, without Richard Hatch, and Richard Hatch making an alliance, and Richard Hatch doing what he did on the first season, and the majority of America wanting to tune in to watch this gay naked guy in this crazy show, and 50 million viewers at the finale, I'm not sure Survivor would even be here today.
I've got the $1 million check written already. I mean, I'm the winner. And it's that kind of cocky attitude that makes people really hate your guts. So that's the kind of thing I've really got to keep under wraps.
I know what the resolution to the conflict that exists right now would be at home, but I'm actually planning something different from that might benefit me, and it's a little sneaky. I think I'm going to handle this by beginning to develop alliances with some folks to ensure that I move into the next round. So the alliances have begun. We really could control our fate if we stick together. You know, it's hard to kind of trust people completely and thoroughly, but I think until the next segment, the 3 of us can work together really well.
I trust you completely.
Yeah, I think we can trust the 3 of our votes. Because if one of us blows up, trustworthiness-wise, then this whole thing's out the window, and it's a free-for-all.
Richard's really smart, legit smart. Unfortunately, he's more crafty, and he gets himself into the tangles he gets himself in, right? Rich is brilliant, but he thinks he is even smarter than he actually is. That being said, Richard's mindset of going in to the game was relatively similar to mine. I knew we were going to have to try to coalesce our groups. Richard was a little more sinister than most, where he wasn't going to take his own team. He was going to look in that team and find the people that he could beat and team with them. And that I was not willing to kill my own team members off. That was my mistake. Richard was just, again, the Machiavellian thing. I mean, 48 Laws of Power, Art of War, The Prince. He was a fan of that stuff, which, since, it's been 20 years. I read 48 Laws of Power after that, and The Prince, and Art of War. When I went on the show, I found out about I bought a book on Borneo and survival and studied the animals in the land. Richard went that route.
I was really shocked in the beginning by how few people were planning. It seemed a vacation to 16 people who were told what this was about, who saw the logo that said outwit, outplay, outlast, same as I did. When we got to the point where the original 4 were still here as the final 4, that alliance had gone through a number of machinations that changed it from being the original 4 to almost anybody's game.
Winner of the first Survivor competition is Rich. Congratulations, Rich. Congratulations. Nicely played. 5th person voted out of Survivor All-Stars. Rich.
I've been bamboozled.
That's 4, that's enough.
Good on y'all. Man, oh man.
Played it, didn't we?
Yeah, you did.
Rich, the tribe has spoken.
Food.
Hatch was a riot. So first of all I can remember is he would sit naked on that log, and what was worse is when he stood up and walked away, because his big fat ass looked awful. So it was just funny. And I went, ew, Richard, man, I don't even know what's worse, looking at the front or the back of you naked. So, but he was just, you know what, I really appreciated the guy in a sense, because he was really astute at finding food. He would go out and he'd be gone for like 4 hours. And he would come back with a log, like a low, narrow log across his back. And it would be, he would have a shark hanging from it or a moray eel. He would get us food. But, and he really on All-Stars wasn't playing that much of a diabolical game. But because he had such a name for himself, a bunch of us voted him out.
Playing All-Stars with Hatch was, it was fun. He was, for all of us, by that time, he had become kind of this symbol of the show, and, the first winner, a bit larger than life. So, and I have to say, being in the game with him, he was funny, he was charming, he's a very smart guy. It was fun having him around camp while it lasted. It was hilarious to see the big fat naked dude walking around camp, and it was especially funny because he happened to make Colby really uncomfortable. So every time Hatch would come into camp and he would drop trowel, Colby, you could see Colby just kind of recoiling and finding a spot that wasn't right next to him, and you could see him just getting nervous. And the only rules that we put out there, because Colby was a little bit nervous about it, was when we were eating our rice, Colby wanted Hatch to wear his shorts. So, but Hatch was fun to have around. He was a pleasure to play with until it was time to get rid of him. And as most of you know, he was the very first person we voted out, and that's just the way it had to be. Winners they go home. Period.
think it disappointed Rich that us girls kept these crab traps going and that we caught a fish. And I'm sure he does love to be naked, and I'm glad for that. And I thought I would be okay with that. But sitting at the fire this morning, and he comes just walking up and sits like 2 inches from me, naked, I wanted to get away. It felt awkward sitting next to a naked gay man. The rest of my alliance, if that's what you want to call it, yeah, we're all voting for Rich. He's ruthless. And the fact that we're voting him out on his birthday, it's not lost on me. We're giving him a birthday present.
The last vote, Jay or Jen?
I don't think there's anyone else that could be in the #1 spot but Richard Hatch. And I say that, he beat me, and that's should be a reason why I say no. But I have to explain that once you see somebody go out and do this, you think it's feasible. But we left having no idea what this was gonna be. When you hear, oh, you're gonna be left on an island, you think, oh yeah, this sounds like really fun camping. It wasn't really fun camping. It was destitute times. There's a reason you lose 25 pounds. You're miserable, you're among strangers. It's like Lord of the Flies on crack for adults. Nobody had the blueprints until Richard Hatch handed it to them. None of these players, Tony, Tyson, Ozzy, none of them would be able to play this game without taking what Richard Hatch did and building on it. That's just facts. When we left to go out there, nobody knew what this was. And Richard was playing a much bigger game before anyone knew to play that game. He got to, I remember I was in the finals of Pagong as we got picked off. And I remember thinking how much power he had because nobody ever thought to vote him off. Susan wouldn't, I mean, we all know Rudy, God love Rudy, rest in peace. He would have never voted Richard off. I think that Richard's strength was being a provider. Everybody needed food out there. Richard had a strategy from the get-go. Nobody would vote against him. He was a mafia boss and he was playing a much bigger game.
Had a great time here and played a game that I'm proud of the way I played it. But I want the million. I really want the million. Oh my God, it would change my life.
So what Survivor player would you say you respect the most?
The players that I respected and admired the most were people like Cirie.
Yeah, Cirie would have to be my #1. I mean, she's done just about everything you can do on Survivor other than win, you know?
Cirie is in my top 5 Survivor of all time. Absolutely. The way that, I don't know if you're still recording or not, but the way that Cirie is able to manipulate people to her will is something masterful to watch. And like I am in awe when I watch her seasons and watch her play. And like literally, if there was ever a player that could be on every single season of Survivor and I would love to watch it, it would be Cirie, for sure.
We walked up to the flag. There was a pot and a machete. The machete kind of scared me a little bit. I thought we might have to clear an area, build a house or something. And clearing areas kind of scare me because when you clear the area, the things that used to live there come out. And I'm not good with things. Courtney had decided to sleep on the beach last night. So I had to catch Courtney up on Shane's wanting to leave their alliance. You know, she has to know. So Courtney decided, well, let's get rid of Shane. Wouldn't that be amazing, is what she said. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh. Terry tells me that, I mean, it was almost laughable. It's like he's offering me something. I don't think he's in a position to offer me anything. Okay.
And if we can solidify this thing, that's even more time of worry-free life around here for the next couple weeks.
Right.
Cirie obviously was not a challenge king, and her game was totally opposite of what mine was. And you know, I ended up finding out later on, and you know, when I watched the game, how she was controlling a lot of the younger kids and which direction they were voting and which way they were going. kind of tipping them off on what they should be doing. And, they followed her lead. She did a really good job as far as that went. Obviously, I worked hard at my part of my game, which was winning the challenges. This is all I had left to do. But Cirie played a great game, and obviously she got voted back onto the show, or came back on the show a number of times because of that reason.
I love Aris, but I'm going to do everything that I can do to get myself further in the game. So it is safe to say that somebody's going to be surprised tonight. There's going to be huge fireworks, bigger than the 4th of July.
Playing with Cirie was amazing. I think a lot of people forget that, or don't understand, not forget because they're never out there, but like when you're out there, 39 days is a long time. And it's a really, days feel like months. And so you want to be around people where you feel safe. And Cirie has this motherly quality where when you're with her, you feel so safe. You feel supported. She's so nurturing. And simultaneously, she has a deft, because of that, maybe, she has this incredible ability socially to make people feel safe and get people to share their feelings or their thoughts. And so she's able to navigate, she's incredibly intelligent too, navigate a path, leveraging all this kind of social, social power that she's able to generate. And so everybody who plays with Cirie thinks Cirie's on their side. And that is a gift in Survivor, obviously.
People at home watching identify with me. I'm like the person at home watching on the couch, remember? I was the couch potato. I don't have to hear what you have to say.
Yes,
Why do
you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, right.
Jonathan is pissed off to the hilt. He's just mad that he couldn't make me vote the way he wanted me to.
Cirie was invited back because she was able to get the audience to see her as an every person, right? Whether she was the first person to ever say, like, I'm afraid of leaves or I'm afraid of the jungle floor, she was. And most people who watched the show kind of identified with that. She was also a mother and a wife and a jolly person. She's not all fit and buff, and that she would stay out there and could survive, if not thrive, because her social game is extraordinary. And she's very, very, very strong-willed.
Ozzy's a huge competitor, and then to have the idol on top of that increased his target like tenfold. Maybe I'll just have to work on getting rid of Ozzy and his idol. I think this will be a prime opportunity. I'm gonna get rid of Ozzy.
10th person voted out of Survivor fans versus favorites, and the second member of our jury, Ozzy. Need to bring me your torch.
Ozzy's gone, idol's gone, clean slate. I want to tip my hat to them and say, good job. I beat you, but good job.
I think Cirie is hands down the best player to have never won the game of Survivor. She deserved to win Micronesia. She deserved to win, on other seasons she's played. She is amazing. She has this strategic ability to think 5 steps ahead of where anybody else is and foresee things happening that other people just don't anticipate. She's excellent at bringing people together. She's excellent at forming alliances and bonds. And she's amazing. Would love to see Cirie back, and will hope that she is a future Survivor winner.
Here I am again, coming up just short. HB, John, Jamil, Jared, Mom, Dad, sorry. I tried my hardest. It just wasn't meant to be. I'm a bona fide ex-couch potato that saw this game and loved it. If you were to give up immunity, then I will believe you. I'm a gangster with a smile, like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
I want to give individual immunity to Natalie.
Sorry. I said, my mama always told me you might not be able to beat him with these, but you can always beat him.
Cirie definitely belongs in the top 10, just because
of how well she operates as a strategic player without alienating people. She still has a complete social game. She's friendly. She's very likable. When I had the chance to play alongside Cirie, she was a huge strategic threat and a competitor for me winning the game, for anybody winning the game, but she didn't feel like that. You were still her friend. She has a very, Cirie has this ability to just easily blend friendship and strategy and everything that you need in Survivor. Cirie is able to manage and control. And that makes her a really tough and intimidating player in a lot of ways, which is, she's not intimidating though. She's very non-threatening in her personality. So you want to get to know Cirie, you want to be her friend. But hopefully you are her friend.
I'm going out in grand style. It never happened before. And it just makes this experience that much more special for me.
Cirie, you want to say it?
The tribe has spoken. Oh, thank
Time for you to go. Thank you, sir.
All right, brass tacks time. Number one, who is it?
If I was to be making a list of the top 100 players that have played Survivor, my number one pick would be Boston Rob.
When I entered the game, the one person that I read about, that I was fascinated about reading about while I was in, had never played or even watched any of his seasons, was Boston Rob.
Boston Rob was he's such a smart player. He knows the game so well.
Boston Rob is just legendary. Like, if Tony didn't win last season, it would have been Boston Rob hands down.
I'm all about winning. So if I see a player that hasn't won, but he was really good or she was really good and they didn't make it, screw it, man. You got to win. That's what that game is all about, is winning. When I didn't win Marquesa, I was so bummed out. I was so close to it. So you know what? I'm giving it to Mariano. Even though it ticked me off that he blew us off, I still think he deserves to be at the top.
Pretty much the only game I got going on is with Sarah, and that cuts both ways. At times she can be an asset because basically she'll vote whatever way I tell her to vote. Everybody wants to think that they're the big man. So the smart guy will sit back and let everybody step up to be the big man, and then in the end, just bank in on their mistakes.
The person that really made the strongest impression on me was Rob Mariano, because the way that Rob connected with the audience, I think, was unlike the way that any other Survivor player had made a connection with the audience. He talked to the person that was at home watching the show like they were his friend. And it was very easy to connect with him and hear what he was thinking, what he wanted to do next. And you get very invested in that character.
How do you ever get that? How do I ever get that?
Wait a minute,
Unbelievable. Tell the truth for once, will you? Tell the truth. The other day, didn't you tell me that you were voting for Kathy? Yes or no?
No.
Wow. No, you didn't. You paused and you lied. I can't say that I didn't see it coming.
So Rob, I grew up in Boston, so I've been around that kind of guy. In fact, I think I dated a couple of them when I was in high school. So, he's just got a lot of charm about him, and you want to go along with him because he's convincing and he tells a true story. And so he definitely then works it back and forth. So if he sees that he's losing a player, then he appeals to them like he's your brother or he's a relative. But then he's commanding at times. So I think he does it unconsciously, where he knows that if he's losing somebody and he can do more of a power play, and timid people will grab onto that.
Coming into Survivor All-Stars, Boston Rob was not perceived as the Survivor great that he is now. I mean, he was somebody who was a big character from Survivor Marquesas, but he's somebody who I thought was going to play hard, play overly aggressive, and probably flame out in this season of all the returning players. And I think that a lot of people probably underestimated him coming into that season.
What do you think? You want to make an alliance? Cover our own asses?
I don't know if I can take you seriously or not.
I'm being 100% serious. Amber and I have an alliance for obvious reasons. She's beautiful, obviously. Any idiot can see that. But I'll keep my word no matter what to her. Amber and I have been fooling around a little bit out here. I mean, it's all in good fun. I'm definitely attracted to her. It'd be nice to have $1 million and take the girl away, too. I'm sure people took this game very, very personal. And that's their own freaking problem. I outwitted, I outlasted, and I feel I outplayed them all. The feeling that I have inside me right now is worth the sleep deprivation, the lack of food, the suffering, the highs, the lows of the game. It's worth everything. I did everything I wanted to do out here. I did it to the best of my ability. I gave 110% every single day. And I'm sitting in the final two with Amber. I'm proud of the way I played, and I have no regrets. I love you with all my heart. Will you marry me?
The winner of Survivor All-Stars.
I'm still in awe of who I'm here with. I mean, for God's sake, Boston Rob. I don't care how strong he is. I don't care who he is. He's threatening Russell Hantz. When you do that, you go.
Watch your back, man. Well, it's been real.
So you telling me,
I'm telling
if I
you.
don't find the idol, they'll vote for me tonight.
Better to play with me than against me.
I'm gonna use Rob's quote. If you ain't with me, you against me.
That's right, and you are against me. It's clear.
Rob, the tribe has spoken.
Boston Rob was after me. You know what? I just won. Big time Boston Rob, the super all-star. He ain't nothing on me.
Super aggressive, super likable, and for some reason, people, they just want to do what he says. It's just some kind of magnet that he has, and he brings people in, and then they just want to work with him, regardless. And I seen that immediately, and I knew if I didn't tag out Rob, that I was in big trouble. Obviously, he tried to vote me out.
Welcome to Survivor. We've got two more players joining us. Right here. Rob. Russell, this is for you. All right, let's reveal.
When he won his season in Redemption Island, he took control of the game and didn't even look back. It was almost ridiculous how easy it was for him to take control of the game.
He just has this ability to make everyone want his approval so much, you know? So I was like, oh my God, you know, these people are gonna give him $1 million just because they want him to like him. This is because they want him to like them. And that's exactly what happened.
She stood up on the mat, looked at Jeff and said, I don't want to play with him because he's too sneaky. She knows my game. So I don't want someone like that on my tribe.
Francesca, the tribe has spoken.
It's crazy, but this is such a weird spot we're in right now. They'll never expect 4 of us to vote for Matt.
Matt, the tribe has spoken.
Ding, ding. Christina's been snooping around about the idol. She's dangerous.
Christina, the tribe has spoken.
It really doesn't even matter what it says, because I already have the idol. So, might as well just throw it away.
And you can take your buff off too. I've got a new one for you. It's clean.
All right. And voting for Matt.
Again, the tribe has spoken.
To rely on and to tell all of his gameplay to and his strategy to, I think that was the move that actually won him the game.
he had a likability factor besides being that was offered to him by coming and playing with people who already knew him and loved him, but he also knew how to nurture that. So if you remember when I returned the second time on Survivor, I basically created what I call the BR rules, which were the observations I made of him.
From here on out, we don't decide who's going next until the very last minute.
Yes.
We're going to do the buddy system. Nobody talks to anybody on their own. Don't even freaking entertain any crap with them.
We had the buddy system. The buddy system was a way to basically make sure that these people were only able to speak to amongst themselves, thus not influence other players in the game. I thought that was brilliant. I still think it was brilliant.
Asshole, you could have made it to the end, but you decided not to tell me anything. You have to tell me everything. It's my game.
What he was able to do was bring some new things to the game based on his collective experience of having played so many times. And for that, I give him high praise and high credit. And that's not to be denied.
Rob has it. Rob wins immunity. Rob wins immunity. Mariano wins immunity. Only you are safe. He is. Yeah! Rob Mariano wins final immunity. Wow! The winner of Survivor Redemption Island, Rob. Amber, why are you out here?
I didn't come here for me. I only came here for one person, and I came here for him. Nobody respects this game more than my husband does.
He comes back at Winners at War, same thing, he plays aggressive, and that's his downfall. Even though that's why he's so great, his downfall is also that he plays so aggressive. So, you know, but you have to give it up for the guy. He's a great player.
I care about her. It kills me to have her over there by herself. I'm gonna do whatever I can do to keep her around as long as possible. If you can.
Lex, move it out.
As soon as we merged, Lex comes running over to me. Rob, make me feel comfortable. Tell me that I'm safe. Tell me that I'm safe. Well, I'm making the deal, save Amber, and I'm gonna help you later on? You guys didn't really believe that, did you?
That was not a game or strategy decision. It was a brother coming to another brother saying, friend to friend.
The word I gave you was that if I can take care of you, I will. I'm sorry, I cannot.
10th person voted out of Survivor All-Stars, and the first member of our jury, Lex.
As good as your game was, you sold out your values, sold out your character, and you sold out your friends for a stack of greenbacks.
And I'll be the very first person to admit that when it came to Boston Rob's game in All-Stars, he most definitely beat me fair and square. He outplayed me, outwitted me, and outlasted me, obviously. I don't hold any bitterness at this point. I mean, once the finale was over, I closed that book. It was done, and I put it behind me. But you know, I have to be honest. You know, Rob played 100% by the Survivor rules as they're laid out. Some people are, you know, like Rob, are, you know, have no problem using every tool and every weapon in their arsenal, which could include, you know, taking an old friendship and exploiting it, you know, for the betterment of your own game. And that's, again, it's completely fair game. So I have to say, you know, respect to him for that. It was a bit of a hat trick for sure, and he figured it out.
It's 188 days for me. Wow. But I leave here with nothing but love for everybody, gratitude and appreciation. Thank you.
So Michelle, before playing your first season of Survivor, which past contestant would you say that you looked up to the most?
So before playing my first season, I obviously looked up to Parvati the most. I mean, when I had sent in my audition tape, I had said, I'm the most like Parvati. I would play like her. I would flirt and play that part. I mean, I wanted to be her so bad. I've been watching this show since I was 10, and she's like the original badass female woman who's played this game. And I think she's inspired a lot of women who have applied. I mean, me definitely included. And I had the privilege of playing side by side with her recently, and she is as wonderful as I had hoped.
It seems like we got all the like really big buff guys. I'm absolutely gonna flirt with him. Get him on my good side. It's what I do best. I already had Adam from the beginning. You have water in there? I was drawn to Nate in the first place just because he's so like outgoing and funny and kind of charming. So I decided to work him, just for starters. After Tribal, I just felt like this nausea, and all I wanted to do was take Jonathan's face and just throw up all over it. I couldn't control myself. I snapped on him and told him how I felt about him and called him out, and I think that he's a filthy, miserable rat.
I didn't like Parvati initially. I really didn't. When I was out there, when I was a father of young kids, and she seemed to be behaving in a way that put me off. I have come to learn to respect Parvati's game, and I'm sure Parvati has learned to grow up in a lot of ways too. A lot more life has gone under her wheels in the 14 years or 15 years since we played together the first time than in mine. I was 44, I'm now 58. She was 21 or something, she's now 35, I don't know. She was in her early 20s, maybe she was 23 or 24. She was a kid. And a beautiful young woman, and funny and smart and ready to play her ass off. I mean, she played an incredible game. She got blown out, she got brought back, and she played an even better game. And she plays an amazing game of Survivor, And the reason that she can go as far as she does, it's similar to Boston Rob, it's similar to the folks who get back on the show and go long distances, is she's incredibly charming, appealing person.
I was running the show for a little while because I'm a flirty girl and guys respond to that. But I feel like, they all thought that I was like this wimpy little like ditzy sorority girl and, couldn't really hold my own. And I think I shocked a few people by staying in as long as I did. And I kind of shocked myself.
Come on out. Parvati from Survivor Cook Island.
Thank you, Jeff. I have to win this time. It's my second time. I'm not coming back here to starve and be miserable. We're voting Eliza.
Okay, so who all do we have?
Us three.
Yeah.
We can get James and Amanda for sure.
Parvati is, I think, universally regarded as an excellent Survivor player. I think that her ability to charm people and rope them in while simultaneously not actually telling them the truth, but making them think that she has a crush on them or that she is friends with them is unparalleled. And I think that that's what got her to the end in multiple seasons that she was on.
This is how I came into this game, to play in stages. Mm-hmm. Like, the first stage was clearly before the mix-up, when it was fans versus favorites, and just to get through that first couple of votes. And then we have the mix-up. Mm-hmm. So we have to play through this segment to get to the merge.
Parvati wins individual immunity.
You're crazy. You officially go down as the dumbest Survivor ever in the history of Survivor ever.
Parvati is and always will be the Black Widow queen. She's the queen bee of the Black Widow Alliance. So Parvati's thing is, Parvati operates her game very socially minded and very manipulative. In a way, I think Parvati's biggest success is that she is kind of a mean girl, kind of a bully. And she uses social interactions to her favor. And I think that's Parvati's biggest strength, and I think that's why she won Survivor Micronesia, is because she was able to cultivate this coven of women that was based on a charisma or based on a like-minded pursuit.
I think my strongest point that I can make tonight is standing up and owning that I have been a powerful, controlling player throughout the duration of this game.
The winner of Survivor Fans versus Favorites, Parvati. Parvati let's be clear. While you did a great job and were rewarded with $1 million, you led one of the most notorious tribe of women ever in the history of the game. You betrayed people left and right. You guys were responsible for many, many blindsides. Great player? Yes, that's why you're here. Hero? No. James, from your 2 cents, Parvati, hero or villain?
Villain. I want the devil on my side.
I went up to Coach. I said, Coach, you think I should stop hanging out with her? He's like, oh, she'll know something's coming, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep doing what you're doing.
Wow.
He is after you.
He is demented.
I didn't want your name to even be on the block.
Parvati, she was my #1 target, and now I'm, her biggest fan. She's my absolute favorite player. If I were to put a top 100 list together, Parvati would be #1 because she's a total package. She could flirt, she could get her way, she could look sexy in a bathing suit, she could play the game strategically, she could kick ass in challenges. I mean, she's the quintessential player. I never once heard her complain about the environment or about sleeping or anything like that. So she's tough. And so playing with her was really interesting and really eye-opening because she was my #1 target. And yet, by day 4 or 5, I was like falling in love with her.
Russell just gave me his immunity idol. So that makes me safe for tonight. And I have my own immunity idol. That also makes me safe for the rest of the game. It's like 2 little green men.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
You know what, Jack? I think it would be downright depressing to sit and watch green bananas turn yellow without my debaucherous little villains. That's for you. Get out of here, for real. I would just like to increase our odds. So, Jerry, that one's for you too.
Damn it. Sandra?
Wow.
11th person voted out and the 3rd member of our jury. JT, that's 3, and tonight that's enough.
I have played the game of Survivor for 114 days. I don't know if that makes me crazy, probably. But I think it also makes me one of the best players of Survivor ever. I'm definitely a little mischievous, a little devious. I like to get into trouble. So I definitely have embraced my villain side this time around. And you know what? I've put my heart and soul into this game, and I'm here to win, and that's what I want.
Playing with Parvati is awesome because she is, I guess if you say Survivor royalty, she's one that comes to mind. There's no doubt that she's charming. If you spend any time with her, you see how charming she is. I think she's always been a target early on every season that she came back. I know she was like an early target on the game she won, but then Fair Play got hurt or something, and her and Russell were targeted very early in their season, and it's just that just shows why we couldn't let her slip away when we had her in her crosshairs.
We can either work with each other or against each other. And I do not want to work against him. Are you kidding? So Russell having the idol is definitely like he's a great ally for me. XOXO, JT. Destroy this right when you finish reading.
When you watch Parvati in these seasons, everybody's like she flirts, she does this to get her way to the end. To be honest with you, Parvati oozes sex appeal. Like, the girl is so charming, it blows your mind. She's not like these other girls that try to flirt. They try to do what Parvati does. She does it naturally. It's just who she is. It's also, she's such a nice person, such a charming person. It takes over you. It's almost like the Russell seed. She plants it in everybody's minds, and it takes over them, and they start doing what she wants.
I have played the game of Survivor for 114 days. I don't know if that makes me crazy, probably. But I think it also makes me one of the best players of Survivor ever.
I was willing to come back out here and play this game with every ounce of heart that I had. And I feel like I did.
been a very different ride for me this time than it ever has before, but I'm going back out really proud of who I was in this version of the game.
All right, final question I have for you. If you yourself were going to make your own list of the top 100 greatest survivors, who would you put up there at the #1 spot? Who deserves to be #1 more than any other player?
Who deserves to be #1? Oh my gosh, this is terrible. I don't really even know.
Oh, shit, that's a hard question.
#1 spot for Survivor players.
Give me a second on that one.
Oh, wow.
Let me think.
Oh, gosh. Wow. That's such a subjective question because, okay, I mean, there's, right? Are you talking about #1 being a challenge beast? #1 playing a social game, right? #1 being, who do I like watching the best? I mean, all right, so I guess, and obviously, hello, he just won the season 40, but Tony is a very impressive player.
I guess I have to give it to Tony.
You've got to say Tony.
Honestly, I think at this point I would be putting Tony in the #1 spot there.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. You got to go with Tony.
Tony is easily the best of the best.
The only logical pick for the top spot of the top 100 is Tony.
If I had to pick today, right now, I'd say Tony.
I think that Tony would definitely be #1.
I think you have to give it to Tony.
I mean, right now, I guess it's got to be Tony.
Hands down, it's got to be Tony Vlachos.
How can you not say Tony?
There's no doubt in my mind that Tony is the greatest Survivor player ever. I mean, he's the Michael Jordan of Survivor.
I got a lot of respect for the queen, but we now just crowned the king. So Tony is #1 in this list, 100%.
I don't love like choosing a best ever player, but if I had to do it, it would definitely be Tony.
I would have to say right now, the #1 spot would be Tony Vlachos.
Tony.
Tony.
Dun, 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 dun. This just into the Survivor newsroom. There can only be one at the top, and that one is the only one that beat the other winners along the way. Tony Vlachos. He speaks llama, he wins immunities, he builds spy everything, and that's why, to me, he is the soulest of the soul survivors.
Can't argue with that. #1 player for sure.
I've been a police officer up in Jersey City for 13 years. I'm always jumping over cars, climbing over fences, jumping from roof to roof, chasing people. So this game to me should be easy. Knock on wood. If I tell them I'm a police officer, the first thing they're going to be thinking is like, this guy's strategical, he's tactical, he's probably sharp on his toes, he's very observant, and they're going to be right. So obviously I'm a threat to them, so they're going to probably want to try to blindside me right away. I'm trying to cover up a little cubby hole in the corner, and I'm going to run around the beach and crawl up to here, and I'm going to be right here listening to what they got to say. And I'm going to hear everything. So whatever useless Cliff tells Weasel Woo, I'm going to know crucial information. That's the key to this. It's not just small talk, it's going to be big talk. I went right into the lake, and finally I felt a lump, and sure enough, it was an idol right there, and I found it.
Oh my God.
I almost passed out. I was just so happy. And then when I opened it, it's the special idol. Oh my God. Wow. And here it is. I've been looking for this for so long now. Come to Papa. I love you so much. That's what I've been looking for. I'm sorry I don't talk Lama. I'm supposed to talk Lama to you. You understand that better? But I just don't think she could leave a 4-month-old baby home to come out here. I mean, it was hard enough for me to do it, but I know it was in her mom's hands. You seen the baby before you got here?
Yes.
How is she, bro?
She's beautiful, grown, awesome.
When you see her,
I mean, it's going to be such a change.
The winner of Survivor Cagayan,
Survivor for Cagayan is arguably one of the best seasons of Survivor ever. With absolute domination, Tony dominated that season.
There are so many incredible players, but for Tony to play the game he played in Cagayan, this frantic, ridiculous, crazy game, and then come back, 7 seasons, 6 seasons later, and to try that in Game Changers, and for them to just vote him right out, boom.
Then he came out too hard in the second season. He came out like a clown, and I kind of was like, damn, Tony, you kind of played too hard. Like, come on, man, you know better than that.
second person voted out of Survivor Game Changers, Tony. That's 5, that's enough.
Good job, Sandra.
That's what you get for plotting against me.
Good job.
That's what you get, and the queen stays queen.
Tony, the tribe has spoken.
And then he comes into one of the best seasons of all time, or the best season of all time, and dominated anyone that's ever played the game.
I have a big reputation in Survivor, but seeing my competitors, I'm like, oh, man! Fans of football, they wait all year to see the Super Bowl in the end. Fans of Survivor have been waiting 20 years to see winners at war.
And then for him to come back again and adjust his game, because he learned lessons in Game Changers. He comes back against all winners, the cream of the crop. What some would call the best of the best. I mean, it's arguable, but there are some great players. And for him to adjust his game to where he's no longer even a threat, he never sees his name written down, but then halfway through the game to start using that frantic Tony, those tactics that he used to use, and for him to still make it to the end and win, he's the greatest of all time.
I desperately want the immunity idol, especially for a season like this. And oh my God, it took everything out of me not to just say, and just take off running. And look for
He did everything the right way. I mean, going into the game, he's probably got the biggest target on him, yet he, dampered that so well early on that like almost nobody was even worried about Tony.
I want everybody to get nice and comfortable with me because their guards are here right now and they're slowly coming down as they see Tony's around the camp all day, all night. It's coming down like this. And when it gets down to here, bang, that's where the sucker punch comes.
In a game moving so fast that like later on in the late game, he was able to keep up with all the moving parts.
Everybody's always tired after tribal. They're exhausted. They sleep like logs. So now I'm at a point where I'm saying, you know what? Now's my time to go out and go to work.
People like Wendell, Nick, Adam, and Michelle, they're good players, but they're lower profile. They're not in the spotlight. There's no target on these people. So now's the time for me to try to get rid of all of them.
10th person voted out, Wendell. 11th person voted out of Survivor, Winners at War, Adam.
We're all winners. We're all great liars, and we all have loyalties in the game, out of the game. There's just so many different relationships that it's impossible to keep them all straight. Well, Tony builds a damn treehouse. I mean, he still finds a way to get all the information.
This is the time for another undercover operation. Right now, my spine has evolved, and now I'm up in the air. It's called the spy nest. It's like a bird nest that I perch myself on just like a bird, and I sit there and I wait to hear conversations that are going on.
It's just me.
The only person that knows I'm undercover is my partner, Sarah.
You see me? No, I can't see you at all, dude. It's golden.
And then to throw in all those immunity wins that he pulled off.
Tony wins immunity! Wow, I was good.
Tony.
Tony wins.
Come on,
his
man.
second individual immunity.
I'll do it.
Nick is dropping, which means Tony wins. Tony, come on over. 3 times in a row. And Tony does! Tony wins individual immunity, guaranteed a spot in the Final Four.
I mean, that's why he's the greatest.
If I can pull this off and get that $2 million at the end and they crown me the king of Survivor and I sit in Sandra's throne, the queen, I sit in her throne and I have the crown on, what? I'll be the happiest person in the world.
He just played the best game. He literally ran laps around us. While we were just trying to keep our heads above water, he was swimming laps. It was pretty crazy. So, of course I've got to give it to Tony.
This is an opportunity to win a second time and prove that I'm one of the greatest players to ever play this game. Everybody has their own specialty on what they're focused on. They're good at challenges, they're good at the social game, they're good at the strategic game. But me, I do a little of everything, and that's what it takes to be a great player. You have to be good at everything Survivor has to throw your way. I'm pretty confident in how I played my game. So we always had a queen of Survivor for many, many years, which was Sandra. We never had a king of Survivor. Now I'm hoping that I can take it home and be the king.
Tony he's a Survivor god. I don't think he's a king. I think he literally is a Survivor god. So I feel like top 100 players of all time is, you know, Tony's definitely the top winner of all time, the top player of all time, and the rest of us were just all peasants.
I came into this game a totally different person. I came as a human being. I came as Tony. I didn't come as the player that you guys all seen in Cagayan. From day 1 to day 38, I played Survivor twice, once during the day and once at night.
He had 0 votes cast against him all season. He had an idol that people knew about and people still didn't vote for him. He was able to use people when he needed them and get rid of them when he had to. It was brilliant. He's amazing.
Every single night, I was out there looking for idols because I couldn't do it during the day. I didn't want no target on my back. Everything I did, I kept the target off my back. I was leading votes without people knowing I was leading votes. Nobody ever put my name down this game.
I think the fact that Tony played such an incredible game against the best cast the show's ever seen really just elevates him to #1.
It was a tough battle throughout. I know it's a big, huge Super Bowl season of Survivor, and I tried my best to be a great player for the season, and I hope you guys could appreciate the hard work I put into it to get to where I am tonight.
The winner of Survivor Winners at War, Tony. Congratulations, Tony. There is our winner, and that is the truth of Survivor. You have the agony of defeat, and you have the beautiful win. Let's see that family big up there on the screen. Team Tony with his wife.
Will you look at me real quick? Will you be honest with me? Are you a cop?
No way.
You swear?
I swear.
You swear on your badge you won't turn your back on me?
I swear on everything I love. Top 5, baby!
Yeah! 7th person voted out, the first member of our jury. Sarah.
The first time in Cagayan, it didn't work out so well for Sarah. But this time around, I'm gonna make it up to her if she gives me that trust. Cops to us, I swear to God.
Cops to us.
We bring cops to us back.
13th person voted out of Survivor Winners at War. Sophie, need to bring me your torch?
You just sunk my game. No. I'm done. I get voted out.
No.
Do not talk to me ever again.
So Sarah and I, we've played this game 6 years ago. We formed an alliance, Cops Are Us, and I burned her. Now I got to know Sarah. Then we said, let's just stick together and just keep this Cops Are Us going all the way to the end, and we've been doing good so far.
If I'm making fire, it's going to be against Tony. And I don't think I would truly want to make fire against anyone else.
Why?
I mean, I love this guy.
Oh,
and
stop, man. Relax.
he's my partner. And if we're going to get shot, I'd rather us shoot each other than have someone else shoot at us.
And it is over. Tony defeats Sarah.
Hey, listen, Roger. I want you to enjoy their breakfast tomorrow. All right? Hey, enjoy that. Tony is more than deserving to be sitting in the final 3. And I wish I could be there with them. You know, we talked about this for the last 38 days. It's not gonna happen, but it's okay. And he can still finish what he set out to accomplish.
All right, Sarah, this season is over for you. You need to bring me your torch.
I tell you what, the game is so exhausting that I don't know where he gets the energy to be on it all the time. Because, you know, that was me. I would try to, you know, you can't take a break. But at times it wears on you so bad. It doesn't wear on the guy. And if it does, he doesn't show it. It's insane. Like, you'd think it bounces off him, but I know it doesn't. Because, you know, I know he would break down in confessionals and things like that. And it's like, the guy, he can hold the weight of the world on his shoulders and make it look like nothing. And so he was made for Survivor, for sure.
It was a pleasure. Tony, I love you. Crush it tomorrow, all right? Eat some food for me. I'll be eating it for you tonight. Ooh, ooh. Come on, King.
I feel like the game that Tony played was the best game against the best competition in season 40. And so if he is capable of turning in that performance in that season, I think with another dominant performance and win under his belt in Cagayan, I would give the number one spot to Tony Vlachos.
Him being number one, to me, is a no-brainer. Tony's the greatest player to ever play the game. It hurts me to say that. Without Tony, then I would still be here sitting here saying, I'm the greatest performance ever played. Yes, I didn't win the game, but I think I'm one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Now, I have to say that Tony is the greatest player to ever play the game.
Whatever season you win, you're the greatest of that season because your jurors of your peers said so. And that's how I see it. You can't say, I don't think you can say I'm the greatest of the greats just because I won a winner's edition. It just doesn't, I don't think it works like that. And it shouldn't work like that, to be honest. But, I did play a great game for this season, yes. Look at the game I played in Game Changers. Are you going to say somebody like Haley Ford is better than me because I got voted out before her? You can't say that. It's hard to say that. So that's why I don't think that you can judge anybody by being the greatest player of all time. You can say they're great players, like I said before. You can say a lot of us are great players, I'm included. And some of us are not great players. Not everybody can be the greatest in the game, You can be good, but it doesn't mean you're going to be the greatest. That's how I feel.
I don't think I can put one person in a top spot because I think that there are so many people who have done so many fantastic things on the show, and every show is different. Every cast is different, and so you have to be able to maneuver within the cards that you were dealt, and so I think that's what great players do.
At that moment in their show, they were the best. To say they're the best, you got to put them in that position to see what people believe the stuff they're saying. Because that's it's all about what you say and what you do. And
the thing about Survivor and who is the best player, there's a lot of situations that happen. Of course, you make your own luck. But there's a lot of situations that happen that put players in a position to really kind of accentuate their good parts, and sometimes you get blindsided. And
I think that the thing that is Survivor is bigger than any one player. It's an ensemble piece.
I just like to say that I think one of the reasons Survivor is so unique is that we are all sort of this giant weird family. Fans who have watched for 20 years, they know you guys. They've seen you at your bottom and they've seen you at the top, and yet you continue to come back and share your stories with us, and they inspire people. So I give it up to you guys.
On the other hand, the number one Survivor of all time has to be Russell Hantz. There you go.
One? I don't even freaking know. I don't know.
Wow, that is a really hard question. Who I would put at the number one spot for the best Survivor player ever?
Let me think about it. Just give me a couple seconds. You caught me off guard here.
Come on, I mean,
it would be really hard to come up with someone in the number one spot because all the seasons are so different.
It's difficult. A lot.
if I was going to name the number one,
I think that's a really tough question to answer.
Guys, I wanted to say thank you, and mostly to the survivors that were involved in the top 100. I really appreciate it. And for the ones that weren't involved, that I asked and said no, we might play together. Just saying. Anyway, I just wanted to say I appreciate everyone that's viewed the top 100, and especially everyone involved. We had over 100 people involved in this project, and we have many more projects to come. We have the Russell Hantz Network that's about to happen, where we branch off different ideas and different things that we're going to do on YouTube. But this, what we have now, I truly appreciate it. And it means a lot to me that we had so many people involved and so many people agreeing and commenting on in the comments section. And I just want to say I appreciate it. And that's all I got for you guys. Other than that, we have a little preview of what's happening with the brand of the Russell Hantz Show. And you can watch that right now. So I hope you guys check it out.
Hey guys, I'd be shocked if you don't know me by now, but I'm Adam, and I was the director of the top 100 greatest survivors. And I'm happy to announce that I am now the official creative director for the Russell Hantz Show. As you just saw, we are expanding, rebranding, and reimagining the brand as we enter into a new era for the Russell Hantz Show. But we can't do it all on our own. If you would like to be a part of the team, whether that's editing videos, hosting your own reality show-based podcast, creating top 10 lists, helping with the Patreon group, or anything as simple as becoming a channel moderator, anything that you would like to be a part of the team, please let me know. We are looking to grow our team and can use all the help that we can get. If you're interested, send an email to jumba.adam@gmail.com, letting me know how you would like to be a part of the team. And as always, stay tuned and keep hope alive.